This is the first question. How would you describe the current state of public safety in your area? Do you personally feel safe?
Yes, I feel safe in my area because so far we haven't had any issue with crime.
Okay. Second question. From your perspective, what types of crime do you think are the most common? And why do you believe these crimes are happening?
So as I said, in my area where I'm living, we haven't any crime so far.
Yes. Overall, let's say in general, why do you think or why do you believe crimes are happening?
Since they are not crimes in my area,
Yes.
when I look at crimes that taking place in other areas, I feel it is because some persons they are not gainfully occupied, and so they are not educated enough to know what is right and what is wrong. Some of them they are not au fait with the consequences of committing these crimes. Some persons, let's say young persons, who would have been committing crimes in other areas, it is because of the parents not being together, separation of the parents, and so that father figure is not there to discipline them from an early age, and so they become like that.
Okay, that's a good point. How about the police? Do you feel that local authorities have been handling crime? Have been handling crime in a proper manner? Do you believe their strategies are effective, or are there areas where there should be improvement?
As I will keep mentioning, in my area I don't have the crimes, but when you look at the other areas, I feel more can be done by the police. In times when there are crimes, I feel like the police, when they are going on the hunt for the criminals, instead of letting people are alerted by them putting on their siren, I think they should go in disguise.
Okay.
Probably use other vehicles, and they don't wear their uniform. They be like those CID police who they go secretly and do their investigation, and in that way the criminals will not be alerted, and so they are not going to hide, and so they can be caught.
That's a good point. Some people may criticize the police or government for not doing enough, but do you think the community itself might also share some responsibility for the crime rates? Are there things ordinary citizens could do differently to improve?
Go that again for me, please.
Sometimes people will criticize the police or government for not doing enough. But do you think the community itself might also share some responsibility for the crime rates? Are there things ordinary citizens could do differently to improve?
No, go for me, call that when we finish. Go up later. Sorry about that, but so I think in communities, yes, the people in the community, they can play an active role in that. If they hear or they are aware of persons within that community are committing crimes, they don't have to identify themselves. They can do it in such a way that the police, they are informed, and also when they need to be very observant or vigilant, I should say, that whenever strangers are entering the community, because these criminals cannot be in the community, it can be persons entering the community, and some of them they can go and form gangs using the members in the community, and so they perform. So the people in the community, they need to report any suspicious activity or any strange persons. They need to give the authorities the information.
Okay.
And not condoning with that.
So, to add to that, do you think any of our own behavior or attitudes, like ignoring suspicious activities or not supporting youth programs, might unintentionally contribute to crime?
So yes, sometimes persons might tell us about an incident and we just ignore it, and so we at fault there. So even though, and or let's say we told not to do this here, and so we still go and we do it. For example, we know that thieves are in the area, and so we told to be careful and so on. And so sometimes we ourselves we may go to lonely areas with our jewelry and so on, and so no criminal is going to see, or no thief is going to see that somebody is alone there all dressed in all his jewelry, and don't attack them in that case. And also some of us, we do not secure our places, even though we will say it's not the right of the thieves or the criminals to enter. We sometimes we give the people the opportunity to commit these acts.
Okay. And do you believe we could make changes, personal changes that could help?
Yes, I think we can make personal changes in that if we in our community, if we have the leaders, if we can like share our concern, and so our leaders in our community, they can make representation so that we can educate the people of not growing to be criminals, or we can ask the government of the day to provide opportunities where persons can be actively involved. And let's say we need to find out the reason from persons who would have been committing these crimes. Why is it that they're doing it? And let's say if it is because of financial reason, they don't have the job, we need to carry out a survey to know what really is the cause for persons to commit these crimes and these thefts and all of that.
What are your thoughts on community policing? Do you think there is a better approach to reducing crime rates?
Yes. Having them, yes, will help, because the chances of committing these crimes will not be so much as you will have without having these.
Okay. Some argue that focusing solely on punishment rather than prevention perpetuates the cycle of crime. What are your thoughts on this perspective?
So there I will say we cannot undo the actions that would have been done by someone, but if we can prevent that action, that will be the better thing to do.
Okay. Many people feel safer now compared to long ago, yet statistics show a different and more complex picture. What are your thoughts on this discrepancy? Finally, if you had the power to introduce one policy or program to reduce crime and improve safety, what would it be and why?
So I always believe that if persons are educated, they will understand their role in society, and if when persons they are educated, they know about the different things that they can do to prevent them from committing crimes. Let's say they're going through hardships and so on, they need to tell somebody that, and they should know who they're telling them to. Not anybody they're going to go and tell, but somebody who's going to represent them. Let's say they're not having a job, and the only way that they feel that they can sustain their family is to go and murder somebody and take whatever. Um, if you talk to person can, wouldn't want them to go on the other side, but to help them to get a job, and so they can provide for their families. And even youngsters too, I think they should be educated, provide them with recreational activities. Apart from educating them, provide them with recreational activities, job opportunities.